Hi everybody, it's Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company, and I've got a great project for you today. Let's take a look at this quilt behind me. So this is a quilt that uses 2.5-inch strips. We're making a square and a square. We're snowballing the corners, and it gives us this cute little butterfly in the corners. So we're calling it the Flutterby quilt. It's just adorable and easy to make. Let me show you how. So to make this quilt, what you're going to need is one packet of 2.5-inch strips. We're using Melbourne Ocean by Andrea Komenos for Benetex, and it's just beautiful, beautiful line. You're going to need 1.25 yards for your background fabric, and that's going to make your inner border and your little flutterbys here. You're also going to need about 1 yard of fabric for your outer border. We put a little 6-inch border on there. And that will give you a quilt that is 56 by 67, so a good size quilt. So let me show you how to do this. So to make this quilt, what you're going to do is you're going to open up your packet of 2.5-inch strips, and I like to pair them with a light and a dark. So this is my whole strip right here, and I'm going to leave it folded in half for ease of cutting. So we've got that folded in half, and what you want to do is you want to go through your packet, and you want to get out contrasting colors like this green and this white. You know, they contrast with each other, they'll be able to see, and you're just going to kind of stack them together like that. I'm going to stack 2 in a row right here because it makes the cutting easier. From each strip set, you're going to want to get 6 2.5-inch squares, and you're also going to want to get 4 2.5 by 6.5 rectangles. Let me make sure I said that right. 6 2.5-inch squares and 4 2.5 by 6.5-inch rectangles out of each strip. So let's cut one so that gets into our minds a little more. I'm just going to cut one of these at a time so you can see. So right now I'm just trimming off my edges. All my little selvage edges are gone. And I have these folded double. So we're getting 2 with each cut of each color. So I have 2, 4, 6 right here. And then we're going to do a 2.5 wide by 6.5-inch rectangle. I have my 1/2 inch on this end already, so I'm counting 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right here, and we're getting 2 of those, and going to count this one as well. Line him up again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half. Don't want to forget that half right there, and this is the waist you're left with. So I love these kind of patterns where it takes the whole thing. So let me show you how we're going to do this. This is actually going to make 2 blocks, and to make the whole quilt you're going to make 63 blocks. But what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 of our contrasting pieces that are the 2.5-inch squares, and we're going to sew them to one of the 2.5-inch that's the darker. So we've got 2 lights sewing to a dark, and we're going to go ahead and sew those together. 1/4 inch. We're going to sew this square to this one and this one to this one, and that's going to give us this little strip. So we'll go over here and do that. Just going to sew that one row and then open it up and sew it to the other side. This is where it really is important to make sure you have contrasting colors. All right, now let's press this. On these kind of blocks, I like to press from the top because I want to make sure that there's no folds or pleats. It doesn't really matter which way my strip goes in the ironed because it's not going to match up to anything. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take whatever our outside colors are, and we're going to sew 2 of these outside blocks like this to make a square. So that's going to be our block right there. So let's go do that. And I just want to line these up, make sure they go right on there perfectly. Open it up. Make sure I'm sewing it to the one with the middle square right here. There we go. And then this is our block right here. Let me press it out for you. Again, I'm going to iron from the top, make sure my seams are laying nice and flat. And this is our block. So now what we've got, actually you may be able to get 4 out of that strip instead of 2. I might have been off on my count. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our 2.5 inch strip right here, and we're going to cut this into 2.5 inch squares, just like we did the other one. This comes out of our background piece that's that we needed that will take care of our little corner squares and our first border. So you're just going to go along and cut. You need 2 for every square. We're going to go ahead and finger press these or iron them, or you can draw the line. It gives us a little sew line right there, and we are going to put this on 2 corners. Now you do want to make sure that you put it on your same 2 corners. And since I have a few blocks made over here, I'm going to look at it, make sure I'm on the right corners, and mine are bottom right and top left. So then we're going to go over to the sewing machine and sew those down. We're going to follow that line and sew right on there. I'm going to flip my square around and sew the other side. Just like that, and I'm going to trim off these corners. You can use your rotary cutter or a pair of scissors. We've snowballed either side, and I'm going to press them out. And now that we have this cute little square and a square, I've sewn a few together right here. So you can see how the little Flutterby comes together in the center. You're going to put yours together in rows. You want to make sure that they go the same direction. So see how these blocks right here, all this corner is all the way to the top? That whole row is going to go that way, and your second row is going to go the same. And then these are going to meet up and make your little Flutterby. So how great is that? A great little project, cute little block, great way to use those 2.5 inch strips. Here's how we set ours together. We've got 7 across, 9 rows down. We put a little 2.5 inch border on the outside, and on the outside of that, we've got a 6 inch border to just set it off, and it comes together beautifully. So we hope you enjoyed this tutorial on the Flutterby quilt from the Missouri Star Quilt Company.